Yo, what up? I'm doing pretty good. Hey Scarlett, what's up? Oh, you did? Interesting choice. Yo, Plankton, what up? How the Xbox gaming switch? What am I looking at? Yeah, good question. I'm actually not sure yet, but it's kind of weird. But I just woke up, and I mean, like an hour ago. But I actually kind of like had a dream where, yeah, I saw like this kind of a layout where it's like a bunch of rectangles with different like widths, and I don't know, like I felt like it's a good way to like, I don't know, maybe do the arena floors, or like maybe this could be some sort of like dungeons, but basically each square or like rectangle could like represent a round, and you basically occupy like one of them. So like maybe you're here, and then you can either go to the left or right. This one is like you've already been there, so you, I don't know, maybe you can go straight here, but like basically each would contain some units, and then you can go up to like adjacent ones. So like you maybe will go here, and since this one is like wide, it maybe will contain like more units or something. And the further you go, the better would be like units in the shop maybe, and they can like have rarity. So like maybe in this one is like colored as rare. Maybe you'll get more like rare units in the shop, and maybe this one could have like more legendary ones. I mean, this colors kind of clash, but whatever. So this could be like, maybe this could be like the arena where you can decide whether you go up or left or right to like maybe become stronger, but then you'll face like different enemies because each rectangle would be occupied by a different player's team or something. This could also be like dungeons for PvE, where if this dungeon is like explored by someone, you may have to face that player. Like some dungeons can be like fresh, where in each rectangle you're like maybe there's like some rewards that haven't been claimed yet, and maybe some players will only reach like certain floor, and there will be like more rewards in upper floors. Like I don't know, I just saw this layout like literally in my dream just before I woke up, and I was like, damn. There could be something interesting could be done with it. So I'm kind of just like throwing up some things, and yeah, definitely can do something with it. Yeah, it's just like really good visually, and like I don't know, I feel like it's really cool. For example, the way it's done in Slay the Spire, where you can kind of think of a path that you want to take. I really love that part of the game, and people seem to really like it. But in my game it was always linear, so I kind of want to change that. Well, it wasn't like exactly linear by the end of the last iteration, but yeah, we can improve on it a lot, where you can have some like partial information, like maybe like the units that you face could display it like this, where you can see their rarity and like their house, but that's like it. And maybe you could see what kind of rewards you could get, what kind of units you could collect. So yeah. I will know later how to implement this exactly. And also, yeah, the thing I thought of first is that I want to implement fusion points, where this is kind of makes it way easier to balance how strong your team is. So basically, when you go to each rectangle, you basically get like a free round. But then to fuse units, you need fusion points. So you basically get more chances to find a unit that you're looking for, but you can fuse more only by advancing to further floors. So like here I can go like through like 5 different rounds, but then I can't make my team that much stronger. I can only get more options to mix units into my team. And I've already done the new like architecture for fused units. So it would be, you would basically have a units roster, but the amount of units that you can fuse together will be fixed, and you can only expand on it by getting those like fusion points. So I might even like have like 20 units, but depending on the amount of points, I can only use like 5 or 6 or 7 of them, but I can like switch them together to make a better composition. This would solve the problem people had where they like fused and they wanted to go back because they like made a mistake. This would allow you to experiment more, and yeah, I think this solves a lot of issues. How can you wake up and do stuff instantly? I need coffee before I can get up. Yeah, dude, that's like you just have to teach yourself. But if you try for a week waking up and going straight to work, especially if you have some tasks planned out before, you'll find out that you can actually wake up during your work, and it's way easier to get into the flow state. So I just watched a video about it like some time ago, and I tried it, and you just get addicted to it, because it's like a cheat code where you get a lot of shit done even before the day starts, and you don't really need coffee. Like you just get used to it, and you can get used to like starting like this, but it can be hard. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, man, I really want to sleep some more. But you just have to not lay in bed, just instantly get up, maybe put your phone away from your bed and just like maybe sit like for 2 minutes. But yeah, just open like your, I don't know, turn on your PC, like open your laptop or whatever you work on, and just start, and you'll find out that you actually can really enjoy it. And I usually have my coffee before a second work session. Yeah, dude, I'm missing one sub. I'm like waiting because I post like a screenshot to my other channel with for every 100 subs. Yeah, Plankton, as usual, you just come and then go to sleep. So yeah, have a good night, man. I'll see you later. What's the question? I answer all the questions. I don't think there are inappropriate questions or rude questions or whatever. I mean, you can be rude with your question, I guess. But I will never get offended. Oh yeah, I had a feeling. Oh yeah, I mean that makes sense why you got so upset about. Yeah, I don't know. I mean I feel fine. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do, and people live the way they want. If you don't like bother anyone else with it, then like I'm totally okay. I'm just I mean I wouldn't ever like how do I put this? It would never change the way I treat a person depending on how they like identify or who they like to have sex with or something. Like I have other issues with it, but they're mostly on the social level. Like for example, the way that like identifying gender identity is like being forced more and more on children, where like I don't know, if a boy may like to wear dresses, he may be forced to like identify as a cross-dresser or like transgender, but like I feel like this choice should be made in a very more like conscious age, and forcing some sort of not even only gender identity, like people identify with their like mental illnesses and stuff. I feel like this is very dangerous when it's like it's like a propaganda basically. But if you're an adult human being, I feel like you should be able to identify the way you like, and we should never separate people by that. So yeah, I just don't like when it becomes an agenda, and yeah, but I would never treat a person differently depending on how they identify and whatever. Yeah, that was my thought. I actually had another trans person in my stream. Oh shit, I forgot the name. But yeah, they're in my Discord too, and they also were talking about their girlfriend. I mean, it wasn't you, right? I mean, yeah, you wouldn't ask because they told me already. Yeah. I feel like we should find a more like a better like middle point, where, because we're kind of swinging like to the extremes. Like before it was really frowned upon, like being gay and being transgender, and now we're kind of swinging another way where we're just not only acceptive but like encouraging. And yeah, people can get really confused if they're getting forced to like choose an identity or even switch to it if they show any sign of being into it. But otherwise we should be accepting of everyone, I feel like. And maybe actually even help people like in some more healthy way, because we're kind of moving more away from like traditional values and gender roles. And I was also kind of not like a victim of that, but I was really into the idea that we should all be like in relationship. You should be equal with your partner, and like I like girls, but I was more dismissive of my role as a male, and female roles are kind of different, and we're inclined to be like to take different roles, I think, and we should not like discourage that. Like, for example, like girls like to feel protected, and I should take a role as a protector more, in like not in a literal sense, like I shouldn't like go around fighting everyone, but like I found out more and more that when I feel like I can protect my partner in like just more like an emotional way, more like it feels good. And I feel like more people should realize that it's not about like being equal, it's more like finding what kind of roles you want to feel, and traditional roles are not traditional because we should move away from them. They're like that because it's a big part of human nature, and I feel like if you're more on the LGBTQ whatever side, there's also some roles that you gotta find what you're inclined to. They might be like a bit different from traditional ones, but still, I guess it's a lot about like realizing your differences, like one way or the other. Was it like Squid? Not, I want to say like Squid Girl or something. I forget. It was some time ago. I haven't seen them in a while. Yeah. So you may have like more of a male parts about you, but you like feel more inclined to identify as a girl. Oh, that was you. So you change your name quite often. But you told me that you're transgender then. So did you forget? Yeah, I think I saw it like one time, but it was a similar name. So when you were like MS Gaming, I wouldn't realize that it was you. Yeah, and you remember? I remember you telling me about like your girlfriend and stuff. So yeah, but it was like back like I don't know, like 3 or months ago, maybe 4. Yeah, I also like about like gender identity and stuff. I had like different issues with that. Not like issues, my own problems, where it was like really harder for me to like. I feel like every person has a feminine and masculine side. We're all kind of a mix of those like gender manifestations, and gender is basically manifested in everything in our world. It's like a part of a part of our reality. You can see it like basically in everything. And for men, it's a lot harder to like develop their feminine side because they feel like they should be all masculine. So for example, like crying for a man is considered something bad, like it's a sign of weakness maybe. I mean, we kind of do move away from that, but like I was a victim of that, where I didn't allow myself to cry for like until I was like, I don't know, like 22. And this is why man is like there's basically a lot of problem for men right now. Like suicide rates are fucking awful. Like you can see it in like statistic. It's really insane. Like men just fucking die a lot, just in general. they get depressed more often and they don't address it. And so this is like the emotional part is more of a feminine side. But like at the same time, we kind of teach our women to be more masculine, where they don't really need to be, like to be more competitive and stuff. Like making yourself a career seems more and more like a necessity and not a choice. And some women are like, I don't want to like have a career and whatever. I just want like to have a man to pay for everything and like take care of the children and whatnot. And this is like more of a traditional stuff, and people like, girl, you should be a girl boss and whatever. So yeah, we're kind of swinging like another way right now. I feel like that's at least what I see like with my friends. Like a lot of my friends who are girls are like very super smart and they can do a lot of things, but like at the same time they eventually want to settle down, have a family and take care of their family and like not like build a career. This is more of a masculine thing, like being competitive and like, yeah. And the fact that all of the corporate CEOs and like everyone at the top of the ladders are usually men. It's not a patriarchy thing. It's because men are masculine is being competitive, and we should just get used to that. I don't know. I started yapping a lot, but it's an interesting topic for me, for sure. Yeah, you were. It's definitely war like in November, but I think maybe even earlier. Trying to finish school, work the same job? You mean like work together? I mean, I don't know how it can work with you guys. Maybe you're more... You can be split like more equally. But still, I feel like taking some roles is the way to go in a relationship. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But I feel like eventually, like if you start a family and like have kids and whatever, I'm not sure if you want to, but it's better to like split it more, where one person is kind of more about earning money and the other is more about like taking care of the house and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's too early for you to think about it, but I'm just saying. Yeah, remote work comes with its own caveats. If you can, you should always work non-remotely, just because being side by side with people, meeting them in person, is way better. It's way better to really know the people you work with, like you basically develop relationships with whomever you work with, and you can't, it's way harder to do when it's remotely. GTX 1660. Is that a new one? It sounds like an old one. I already get confused with their like naming. Motivation. Yeah, no, that's a GPU. But I remember they went to like 2030, 2050, then like 30, 50, 40. I don't remember they're starting with like 16. What stuff? Medicid stuff? I guess that's also an identity issue. I used to change my name a lot too. But you can't really change it all the time because I mean, yeah, I guess you can. But if you want to build a personal brand, then people need to recognize you. It is English, but it's just it's basically derived from my name, my first and last name. I feel like a good username should be unique. So it's just written in a weird way that nobody really writes that way, so it's never taken anywhere. And if you can come up with a name that is unique and identifiable and eventually like can be googled, that's really good for a personal brand. And I feel like it's always should be derived from your actual name. It makes it more kind of like it's not your personal decision to name yourself that way in some sense. So you will not like get more doubts about whether you should be named that way because you kind of already are. And the way we are named, actually there's a lot of power in that. Yeah, so Fairy is a cool name. I like it. Yeah, sure. But you can make a game that's good, you just gotta make a bunch of bad ones first. That's how it is, and you just gotta know it. That's the only way. Only way to make something good is to realize what makes things good, and you can do it only by practice and first learning what is bad by actually making it. So I mean, if it's old, it can run 60 FPS, then sure. But it's not about the performance usually. Unless it makes it really hard to play. Makes you wanna what? I mean, optimizing a game is like another thing. I don't think you should really care about that. If it can run, it can run, and I would try to focus more on like designing and like making it fun. Like with experience as a software developer, you will learn more how to write optimized code, but if you really get bothered about it at this point, it would be just really hard to do anything. So there is like one rule that's like you should let me remember. It's a really good quote by someone, I'm not sure who, but You should basically, when writing code, you should do it. You should focus on things in this sequence. You should first make it work, then make it beautiful, and then, if absolutely necessary, make it fast. So usually, like, you first just when you implementing some feature or something, you first just have to somehow make it to work. Like, whatever your code architecture, like, however you have to just make it work. And then you have to make the code like look good, so like it's understandable, it makes sense, there is like a good structure to it, a good design. And then if you see that like your performance suffers, and this is like a bottleneck or something, because usually you can leave it at like making it beautiful. But yeah, only after that you make it fast. And if your game runs poorly, it's just about like performance analysis. Like, I don't know if you run like benchmarks or whatever, but it's usually hard to do it just by looking at your code. And sometimes like I have like this really, like, my game used to run at really low FPS for like a really long time, but when I built a release build then it was fine, it was like really good FPS. But when I ran it in debug, it had like 15 FPS, and I was like, oh, I guess it's because it's debug mode, like it has to be, right? And whenever I tried to benchmark it, it also ran fine, even in debug mode, and I was like, what? How can that even be? And it was all because of this, because so I can explain. Like, I have my gameplay logic. This is like old build, but my gameplay logic was basically returning this result, which is from anyhow crate. And this basically says like, if it's an error, just like get out of the function. This helps me to like write things like this. So I'm trying to get a value from whatever like expression is in this value. And if it can't, if it's not an int, for example, then it will return an error. And I do it by like this anyhow exclamation point, and I say like int not supported by like this variant of value. This is just an example, but basically I can drop out from the function by like writing a question mark, which is like super helpful. But usually you do it by implementing your own type of error, and I just took the anyhow one. And I didn't know, like, I didn't put much thought into it, I just saw it somewhere and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use it, it kinda works, okay. So I was using it for a long time, and when my stuff gets processed, I throw out anyhows a lot. Because like, having an error is kind of fine in a lot of cases. It just means that some sort of gameplay logic can be executed for some reason. Like maybe there can be, I can't find a target for something, whatever. But basically, this is what dropped my FPS so much, because it turns out anyhow gets a stack trace from whatever you throw the error. It builds the whole fucking stack trace of execution of all the functions whenever I do it, and sometimes I did it like tens or hundreds times per frame, and every time it was building a stack trace, probably allocating a bunch of strings and stuff, and I had no fucking idea. But then like I found out that if I do this, if I set environment variable that Rust leap back trace to 0, which removed stack traces from my errors. I mean, it did bring it back if I did this one to 1, but I first tried this one to 0, and my FPS was fine, but I didn't see any stack traces in my errors, and I was like, what? But then I figured out that it was because I use anyhow everywhere. So like right now I use my own I implemented my own expression error, I called it, and everything is fine. So what I'm getting at is the fact that your code runs poorly. Oh, you didn't hear whatever I just was talking about, right? Well, too bad for you. Oh, just a 10? Yeah, this might be the case. So what I'm getting at is that you shouldn't really concern yourself with it while making a game. Like, what really matters is that if you make a build and it is playable, maybe not even on every PC, like you're not making a mobile game, like, I guess. So that's like whatever, you shouldn't really care about that. At this point you should only experiment, and whatever you build, you're not building it for a release, probably, at least at this point. You just make a bunch of prototypes, just feel things out, figure out what you like to do. Because if you think that your game should perform well, it should be fun and stuff, that's where your motivation fucking goes. Because you set expectations for yourself that you know it will be hard to, what's the word, to meet, right? And so this is what makes it scary to work on things. It should be just a fun process where you just do whatever and like have fun with it. The only thing you should optimize is how much fucking fun you have while working on the game, and that's it. This is where the motivation can be fucking infinite. Because I always try to do just that, just have fun making games, and I had to make a bunch of them. A lot of them like nobody fucking saw. But I had fun. And now I'm making a game that is good and I'm having fun. And you will get there too. It just will take some years. But you will learn more and more and more. And this is all experience. And if you code stuff, this is also an experience that you can sell. Because writing code is writing code. Shit. Yeah, it is true. I'm telling you. I speak from experience. Ah, shit. Why can't I edit it here? Whatever. I don't know how to make the visuals for this one. Like it's the one where you like, or maybe actually, whatever. I'm not sure if you should like be traveling between those rectangles, or you just beat some and you get access to the other ones. There should also be some penalty for going around one floor. Maybe whatever damage your team takes just like stays. We'll figure it out. But this looks kinda nice. So you kind of like explore, maybe you see everything on one floor, but the next one you only see above, which are adjacent. And the further ones you only like see their size. Yeah, I think that's like pretty cool. That closed some stuff. Alright. I think I'm gonna leave it right here. I need to think about how I can apply this to the arena, maybe. Like what are the sizes for? Because in the arena it's like maybe to beat a level you have to have your team that exact size. That could be interesting. Oh yeah, that's actually very interesting. you have to basically change the composition of your team every time. Because it was always like I never knew what amount of units should be allowed. Like it used to be like 5, always 5 or 6 max. But then people mostly just, in the old iteration, they mostly just used one very powerful unit. And so here you can kind of change it every time, which I think could be very interesting. For a PvE, this could be the amount of enemies you get. But then I don't know, kind of want it to be like the same way for everything. But yeah, okay. We'll just leave it here for now. I think this is a very interesting concept. So we'll get back to it later. I'll think about it more, but I'm gonna end it right here, and I'm gonna take a break. And as usual, I'll be back in a couple hours. Not more than a couple probably, but yeah. I'll be back and we'll actually write some code and work on some gameplay and stuff. So thank you for watching. It was nice talking to you, and have a good day or good night, and I will see you later. Bye bye.